Welcome to the Software Minimalist channel. My name is Piotr, and today I will talk about factory automation games and lessons you can learn from them as a software engineer. If you are not familiar, in Factorio and many other factory automation games, you build and manage a growing production and assembly line. In Factorio, you land on an alien planet, you need to mine and produce increasingly complex things to do research, expand your base, defend from alien attacks, and build a spaceship to get off the planet. To accomplish your goals, you put down automated assembly machines called assemblers, which build your intermediate products. You also construct resource miners and furnaces, and you connect all to create an integrated assembly line. Your resources are steel plates, cogwheels, copper wires, integrated circuits, guns, ammunition, and they are moved around your factory using automated belts and robotic arms. As you can imagine, the larger the factory, the more you need to manage interesting emergent problems like resource allocation, supply chain disruptions, optimization of parallelized production, balancing resource buffers, and many more. Now, what does this have to do with software engineering? The answer is everything. Especially if you are already familiar with functional programming and the way it manages the propagation of data through an application. Functional programming languages enable software engineers to evolve and manage their application in a way very similar to an assembly line in a game like Factorio. The data on which the application's algorithms operate is passed around by value between pure functions. Pure in this context means that each function operates only on the input data and produces only output data without causing any by-reference side effects, changing memory somewhere else. Purity in a mathematical sense. This is directly analogous to assemblers in a factory, accepting inputs and processing them to produce a new item. Given 3 copper wires, 1 steel plate, and half a second of assembly time, produce 1 green integrated circuit. Pure functions behave exactly like assemblers. Now, passing the data around the application is analogous to using production line belts, especially if you are using queues to communicate between asynchronous processes. If you are familiar with Actor programming model and languages like Erlang or Elixir, you might recognize assemblers and belts as actors with their message inboxes. You might also notice this if you did any microservice-oriented design. If you are not familiar with functional programming, what I said might sound confusing, but even by reference C++, Java, or Python programmers can benefit from ideas expressed in functional programming and games like Factorio. What I recommend is investigating in your by reference object-oriented languages the features inspired by functional programming. For example, lambdas, otherwise known as anonymous functions, higher order functions like map or filter, immutable data structures like tuples. This was the way I got into functional programming. I started with Python and the ability to pass functions around as inputs and outputs to and from other functions. I could create an object-oriented strategy pattern without artificially wrapping the strategy in an object, so there was very little boilerplate. When I realized what I did, I investigated what else can I do. It turned out to be a rabbit hole, which led me to learning Haskell, pure functions, composition, Clojure and Lisp programming, REPL-driven development, test-driven development, languages like Elixir and the Actor model, the true meaning of technical agility, and many more. It's fun to recognize that the way the world is organized, the way you would build and manage a factory, both in a game and in real life, the way you would model liquid passing through some pipes, and the way you would pass data through an algorithm are all related. The ideas of optimizing throughput, theory of constraints, functional programming with actors are all unified by the understanding of the flow of data. Thank you all for joining me today. Please like, subscribe, and share. Provide super thanks or Patreon support if you can, and have a beautiful day. Until next time, your software minimalist.